line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here at PTM Race TV Studios here in Chicagoland Speedway. As we're about ready to set it down here in Joliet, Illinois, it's time to see what Go Racing League's global strategy team, Jack Racing Collectibles Next Gen Cup Series, bring to the table. Hello, everyone. I am the Crusader, Christian Charter. Joining you guys live here today on the call yet again here as we're setting it down here on the 1.5 mile long track. Time to see what happens here, and we'll see who puts on the show. As Sammy Harrell says, it's going to be a wild one. 26, the best, coming to the stage. Here is your starting lineup presented in part by Jack Racing Collectibles. This is going to be Tyler Dalton, the 19, the outside of him, and the number 15, it is Joe Hudson. And row number 2, Doy Woods will pilot the big 6'6", the outside, and the 67, Skylar Sixton. Row number 3 is going to be Bill Hales in the number 53, the outside, in the number 7, it is Scott Simley. And row number 4, it'll be the 43, is Sammy Horrell, the outside, the 42, Dakota Kramer. Row 5 is the 12, Aaron Action Jackson, the outside, that's 22. It is Allen, the Wild Man Wild. Row number 6 is the 24, Cody Sturgill, the outside, in the 9, Bobby Wetzel. Row number 7 is Ryan D. Cook in the 10, the outside, in that 6, Cameron DeRue. Row number 8 is Christoph Hall, and then 44, the outside, John Higman Jr. in the number 60. Row 9 is Maurice Burnett in the 8, the outside, in the 2, Ricky Edding. Row number 9 is the 8 of Maurice Burnett, row number 10 is going to be the 89 of Russell Ottaway, the outside, in that 23, defending champion Charles Van Schaik. Row number 11 is going to be the 18 of Philip Schmitz, the outside, in the 11, Ron Holyfield. Row 12, Jerry Livingston, the 96, the outside, in the 74, Brian Werban. And finally, row 13, it will be Richard Crane in the 36, the outside, the 3, Keith Prince. Field set to go and field set to bash here in Chicagoland Speedway. Field works their way around off the tracks here. It's time to take a quick look at our track tech talk here. We're looking at a very wide open Mile and a half in length, tough angles, tough corners to master, but a lot of room to work with. Multiple angles to work with. Drivers select and choose when and where they want to go. Stage laps here, 40 laps here in stage 1. Stage number 2 comes at 85, and then a 75 lap run to the distance. The sun has set it here on the track. There are no quick repairs, only 2 green-white checkers to boot. Race fans, if you're ready, we're ready. Let's get down to the action here. Settling them off the stage, settling them off the course. Through corner number 3 and turn number 4 here. It is time to go racing in Chicagoland. Off of turn 4 to the Global Strategy Team starting zone. Fire them away. It's green flag racing for Go Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series division. Off the start, bringing them down out that back straightaway here. The field already kind of lingering their way through, looking for openings and looking for some runs. Each driver doing what they have to do to stay clear and consistent. The Vendetta number 67, Skylar Sixton right now trying to keep the Heineken number 7 of Scott Simley away from the charge early. Simley, remember, has already got a win here. Knew his name. He got that last week here on the show. He's looking to try to do it again here. The man, though, that everyone will be trying to hunt down as per usual in the usual MO is that 19th Tyler Dalton. As he leads early, Hudson trying to get up there with him as they're 3 wide in the back of the pack, running their ground in. The first half right now currently single file. The rest, as they say, just having a little fun in the back of the Powell house. Onboard camera here with that 44 Chevrolet of Christoph Hall right now as Hall tries to get the 3G machine and move it up a little to the King's Hawaiian 6 that Cameron DeRue. And DeRue, as I've mentioned previously, not a guy who can sit it well on. He is a driver that can put some speed up to the table and put some fight on the brink. Still 3 wide here throughout the corners. Each driver right now just trying to maintain distance, maintain their line, watch every corner and every lap they get it right around. Bobby Wetzel in the 9, Sim 500 Ford Mustang as well, right in with the field. Pack stacked on the back half, still 3 wide through the corners. Looks like the number 10 of Ryan D. Cook starting to make a little bit of a show of himself, looking to try to get to the field and make a run at the rest of these guys. Well, here's another guy, too, that's been having a lot of horrible breaks this season, and that is the 24, Cody Sturgill. Sturgill pretty much this season has been nothing but misery and pain in his mind. Trying to change that today with this race as he continues to fight it out with the best. Double filed in and triple lining them off the corners here. Every driver right now just trying to keep distance, trying to maintain control, looking for every angle they can. Again, it is early though, so really taking it as aggressively as they are, probably not the smartest idea in hindsight. But in the flip side of it, it does allow them to really make some charges and make some moves throughout the race. As the Route 23 of Charles Van Schaik already right now making some clear getaways up to the field. We'll talk about a guy that has absolutely poured his heart and emotions into this league, into this season. If there's one guy that's done it, it's definitely this man, Charles Van Schaik. Loves this league and loves racing with this team, these crews, these drivers. He said to me earlier today, if it wasn't for them, racing would be a whole heck of a lot boring for him in his case. Dollar right now, though, man, talk about a guy that has showed up on the polls, but has not showed up necessarily on both divisions in terms of controlling his lead or controlling his wins. He is the fastest of the bunches, but again, speed is one thing. How well can you handle on a long run? I think the old phrase was mentioned a long time ago to a certain driver. It says you can be fast, but being fast is different than being a driver. Yeah, I kind of took that to heart one day, and honestly, I kind of thought about myself, and yeah, that is very true. You think about it, you can be fast all you want for 1 or 2 laps, but you got 120 laps or 200 laps. How do you make that work? And that really then plays out the strategy and the key excellence, why we really love and enjoy this sport and how crazy it can be to master and enable. Doy was down the bottom lane, the Howell lane number 66, trying to go up there against the 44 Christoph Hall. Both drivers keeping their pace and keeping their clutches in. John Hickman Jr. also in that march and in that charge. Well, here's a guy that definitely knows a thing or two about putting her up into the top spots and putting her up for a race win. Still winless this season though. John Hickman Jr. has gone head to head there with Ron Holyfield, who right now in the 11, way back in the pack. But those two had a beautiful race down at Atlanta Motor Speedway not too long ago here on the show. Since then, though, it's been a little bit rocky edges in terms of where he gets himself into. Keith Brent's right now still having mechanical problems down there, despite trying to leave the pit road entry there. It looks like he will not be able to get it out on the track, though. Slow off the pace. There is Keith Brent. He's coming out on the track now, although this is going to be a really late start for him. No caution will be hammered out for him as they'll keep him green. "11 laps in, still 30 to go." The number 6 Cameron DeRue here keeps Hawaiian yet again, pushing himself up to the front. 9 spots gained so far, now 8 depending on what you're looking at on the timing sheets between him and Kramer. Kramer on the outside trying to manipulate and master the airflow around his car to better suit the 6's less absorbent runs here, as the Chevys right now are trying to catch the Fords. Sammy Harrell, wait a minute, something gone wrong with Sammy Harrell. The 43 Legion car is in pit road already. What is this? Harrell may have some mechanical problems down there. It looks like he's trying to sort them out at the moment. Tough break there for him, as the Wild Man out of the Wild catches a bit of a break coming off that corner. Now fighting for Hudson and Kramer. Samuel doing so good out of the start. I can't believe that all of a sudden things just kind of get flipped on his script there. And he's back out of pit road already, so it looks like whatever mechanical problems he's having, he kind of got it fixed, or he decided to just take fuel. If he went to just take fuel, I don't really know if I agree with the strategy this early on. I think honestly that's a bit of a risk, but then again, he could be trying to outplay the rest of the field and actually trying to smarten them up a bit, as they will have to go into pit road if this stays a green flag run. So maybe that's what he's counting on, and that's what he's looking at in this picture here. Onboard camera here, Dakota Kramer right now as the garage door commander, the Wild Man out. Wild still holding his line down there. Kramer though looking to put some OnlyFans, some Monster Energy to good use. Might do a little photo op later on for the ladies down there, or guys, depending on what you look at it. No judging there. Sturgill also making a good little fight out here. He's gone 5 spots up through the field. He's making some great contributions to the right field and making some good runs up to the front. Everybody right now really having a good time here, getting through the pack and through the charge here. Except for, again, Samuel Harrell, who went into pit road extremely awfully early and in a very little substance spot. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, nor do I really think it was a good idea, but again, I have been very wrong on my calls before. I can only strategize when a driver goes through their mind and the feeling that they give me from the track to present to you in the booth. I let the professionals figure out how to actually call what exactly a driver's mindset is on a strategy based on why they will do it with the car they work with. You can see the difference there with Roy Woods and Russell Ottaway right now trying to catch back up into this field. Phil Schmitz also having a little bit of a jump up. Interstate Batteries number 18 running it through the field. right down on the march and down to the plains into the sectors here. He's got John Hickman Jr. and Ryan D. Cook right in his line of sight and in his field of vision. As he tries to get this 18 just a little bit more power, he is successful. Ryan D. Cook off pace from the outside wall. Now Smiths to the outside, looking for the run there on Hickman. Manipulating the car to be able to round up the outside to gain a little bit more RPMs and then burst the speed out a little bit more. No gimmies from Hickman Jr. though. Hickman Jr. blocking that runoff, trying to give him a little dirty airflow to subdue the cars. And it looks like it might be a little bit successful on that bottom lane, but again, driving that low in the ground, well, that speed and that power also deteriorates the tire up. The right rear and the right front especially take a bit of a beating from it, and Smith's willing to exploit it. To the outside, Smith's now for the lead. Now for the lead off. Got the jump and got the lead off. He's got it allowing to 11. 10 spots up for Philip Schmitz. Top one short of Charles Van Schijk's his hard charger, although Schijk's might be falling himself back in there. Schijk dealing with Wetzel right in front of him, and Wetzel not giving him any room. He knows what the old hard charging boy will do in this case, and he knows what he's up to as well. Charles Van Schijk this entire season has been pretty much playing it even, playing it cool for the first part in stage 1, stage 2, and then he decides to throw the hammer down on everybody. Well, right now we're halfway done here in stage number 1, race fans, and currently, as you can see up ahead of you, that 43 of Samuel Harrell has been lingering around with Tyler Dalton. He's counting on Dalton to make a pit stop here and then to jump ahead of him and then try to take the stage points away. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the way he presented it though, because again, he's a full lap down right now. And still struggling to get it back from Dalton. I just don't think this was a smart move on Harrell to go this early in case a caution did come out. But then again, if I think about it, if a caution does come out, then the drivers do have to go to pit road, and then he would have the advantage. So, I don't know. Maybe it might actually worked out for him. Maybe this was exactly what he was hoping for. I don't know. But here we go. This is not about for the lead. Dalton is still on the lead lap. Harrell getting his lap back, though. And I'm starting to wonder, maybe Dalton's kind of getting the bright ideas what Harrell did to him, and now thinking, well, he thought smarter than I did. But that doesn't mean I can't outclass him the rest of this race. A bold strategy. How wise, we'll find out, but a very bold one indeed. Remember, if you ain't got no fuel in the car, you ain't got no gas, it ain't gonna run. And that's the last thing you want to worry about, is having to deal with that situation. Speaking of situations up front, look at this. 3 wide off, 1 and 2. Big drive coming off of the backstretch. Cameron Dew on the outside yet again, trying to stay in control of his own destiny, but Scott simply had other ideas. The Heineken, number 7 Ford Mustang, limbering around, lumbers the yard up on the 24, and Sturgill with no room for error, couldn't quite get a pass on him. DeRue looking on as he is seeing this battle ensue in front of him. You're on board with Cameron DeRue. Boy, they are just stacking up throughout this Chicagoland race, and this is for those fans at home that were saying, and those fans around the states that were saying, if we get Chicagoland out Speedway back with this next gen Cup car, there would be amazing racing. This is what they were talking about. We're not even 25 laps into this, and this has just been thoroughly impressive. There's been comers, there's been goers, and there's been a lot of 3 wides mixing in between. Drivers mixing it up and putting on a good show and putting on a great fight out for the top spots or the top areas, if at all possible. Tire wear does seem to really affect these drivers a bit more too, as they get a lot longer into the run. Back off the bottom lane, here comes the 66. And Doy Woods almost trapping Wetzel in a bad spot. Wetzel trying to figure a way to get around him. Charles Van Schaik sees what he's up to. And he's going to use that to his strategy. Look at this. Van Schaik. Beautiful run coming down off the back stretch. His strategy starting to come into fruition. Let the tires wear in and figure out the rest later. Pit stops are being made though. Sturgill's going to pit road. Schmitz is in pit road. You know the other drivers are going to have to go to pit road eventually, and that's what it's looking like right now. The strategy of Samuel Harrell is now becoming more and more effective and looking pretty good, I'll say. At least for the stage. He's not going to be able to make it work the entire race, though. He needs to be very, very selective on where and when he does that. But again, stage points, I gotta believe, is probably what he's really after in this one. Wish we could get a few of these drivers mic'd up so we can see like what they're doing and what they're feeling here on that broadcast here. That'd be like the coolest thing. We can actually hear the spotters and them talking as they're going along for the ride here. Bill Hales in the 53 right now, working his way down across out of turn number 3 with John Higman Jr. on the outside. Higman Jr. right now trying to stay in control, but in the MH Construction 53 Chevrolet is not making friends today. Try to get that Bronco race design. 53 just up a little bit further and really mounts some more charges up on the trace. He's got Charles Van Schaik now in his wake. Side by side still. Side drafting extremely effective it seems like, while at the same time also forcing drivers to have to really control their own destiny. Dalton and Hudson into pit road. Well, this was earlier on what we had kind of speculated on, which is if that 483 went into pit road as early as he did, would that work out for him? We're about to find out. The action's too hot right now, though, to leave our seats and leave onto the pit roads. So Dalton and Hudson in pit road right now. Here comes DeRue back into the plane. Sturgill trying to get his lap back. Has to maneuver through traffic. DeRue to pit road. As well as Christoph Hall. Simley stays out. Wetzel, Doy Woods, Bill Hales, and Charles Van Schaik with John Higman Jr. all staying out. Utting, Burnett, Holyfield move up as well. That is the field of drivers right now that are currently pushing their lucks and pushing their limits a little bit. I would presume more than likely they're probably trying to see if they can get a good fuel run out of this and mileage they're basing it off of. They only got about 8 laps remaining here coming to the line before stage number 1 comes to a close. Van Schaik toppling it on the outside, trying to hold the line down. Nearly 3 wide off. Lap traffic again getting in the way. Uh-oh, this could be bad. This could be bad. Look out for that traffic. Hall making a clear-cut case. Van Schaik trying to get out of there. Simley to pit road. This is some absolutely wild maneuvering through these fields and through the drivers' heads, minds right now. Christoph Hall was just narrowly getting bumped and tagged by Sturgill and was getting avoided by everybody else in that one. Some wild racing here on Pizza Race TV and some good showcasing of these GOAT Racing League Cup Series drivers. Higman Jr. moving ahead of the field right now. Sturgill trying to get back on that pace, back on the track. Samuel Harrell, by the way, is now lingering closer and closer to the top spots. He's ahead of Tyler Dalton by about a second and 3/10 here. And you can see the lap times aren't exactly going Dalton's way. I think Harrell's kind of hoping for everyone else to head up pit road and kind of catch a break here. Wetzel moving ahead of Simley and everyone else. Wetzel, though, currently looking maybe to enter into pit road. He is. Doy Woods and John Higman Jr. will stay on out. Charles Van Schaik goes into pit road. Utting's in pit road. Ron Holyfield to pit road. Skyler Sixton, the only other one driver remaining out besides the other 2 I just mentioned. Doy's going to try to stretch it out. Very big, long run indeed. But John Hickman Jr. is still looking to catch him. But you can hear that off-throttle tempo. That usually means one thing. To pit road goes John Hickman Jr. And John Hickman, wait a minute. Trouble for Hickman. He's lost it in the corner. And that's not what any of the drivers that went into pit road wanted to see, nor did anybody have a clear thought about. John Hickman Jr. has got the caution out due to spin off pit road. We just barely missed it as he came through the corner, but here's a look at the replay. Just got too aggressive and just completely missed his turn. Spun it right out, and he realized he was in trouble. What a tough break there for John Hickman Jr. and absolutely cannot believe in his mind that he just did that. He was expecting this one to be a clean end there, but stage one's going to end with whoever was staying out on top, which I believe Doy Woods will get that. But right there, man, you can see just overdid pit road. All the other drivers, great driving to avoid him, but my word, tough break for the 60. And Hickman Jr. has now left the show, folks. He's done. The frustration definitely boiled over too much inside him. What a tough break, though. You know, it's crazy, too. Sammy Harrell's strategy, it nearly worked out perfectly, actually. The 43 was lining it up for a final run. I know Woods and Sixton were still out there. Sixton looked like he may have had a better chance, but Harrell was literally pushing his luck and pushing himself up. But what this does is actually it did give him a better opportunity now to get out of pit road and get a better spot. So Harrell's strategy, actually, I gotta admit, I was wrong to think otherwise, but his strategy was absolutely brilliant for the fuel run on the first stage. Unfortunately, and I know this all too often, that caution just came out and kind of trapped him into a bit of a bind. Now he's going to have to go head-to-head here with Dalton, Hudson, Charles Van Schaik, Simley, Udding, and all them out of pit road. Dalton is going to be in that first stall, as we all know. And Doy Woods, wait a minute, Doy Woods even going to pit road for fuel? I don't even think he pitted. That says he did. Maybe I just missed it there. Dalton's out second, Hudson third, Simley fourth, Sturgill gonna get ahead of him, Sixton, then Samuel Harrell. That is your drivers coming out of pit road here. Charles Van Schaik late to the party, but gonna rally him up. My, race fans, what a wild little start. So field right now coming from pit road and settling themselves back down across the track here, race fans. Things have truly pump their way around and force them into a very interesting situation. Brian Spence says, let's go Sammy into the 43. A lot of love down there for old Sammy. Double filing them up, race fans. We are going to get them back to the green. And look at this. It's Dalton and Simley. Last two's feature winners right now, about ready to hammer it down again. And these two have had wars together with each other already this season. We'll see what happens when the Sim 500 gang go at it again. Everybody hustling back around, trying to get back into position here before we get to the green. Off of turn number 4 this time on by. Lead them back down to the green flag. Race start zone. It's time to get back to it here at Chicagoland. Right out of the bat, another strong start for Tyler Dalton. But has his strategy learned anything from what he was doing there in stage 1? Has he learned how to process everything into a full regard? Do you expect drivers to just get a little bit out of control yet again? We'll see, because we are 3 wide right now. Philip Schmitz going at a little bit with guys that were in the back of the pack like Bobby Wetzel, as well as Keith Prince, and even dealing with pressure from that number 15. That's Joe Hudson right now, currently kind of maneuver through in traffic, trying to stay out of that mess. Ryan D. Cook to the inside. Big run coming from Cook as he's trying to get his lap and time back. Jackson, same situation. Many of these drivers right now, it's kind of hard to kind of flip through because you can just see most of them not even on the lead lap. And a lot of them just trying to get the pressure to kind of get back up to there and probably make a chance for it here. A lot of running, a lot of speed given here by the drivers. Tyler Dalton, by the way, falling way back into the pack here. What's happening to that Sim 519? Might have lost some ground there, hard to really tell, but no give, no complaints here from anyone that's named Sixton or Harrell. New leader, and the first one today to lead it out under green flag conditions without that pit stops involved. Sixton getting himself way ahead of the group, but it looks like he may also be putting himself into a debatable situation, because he knows now if Dalton is backing off, that means he's either saving fuel or he's saving tire. Doy Woods winning stage number 1, but fell right into the 7th spot and hasn't been able to mount any charges since. The field desperately and hungry just to get back in line. That's always the one thing I said about racing, is that it is the worst feeling in the world to know you're a lap down or you're in a spot that wasn't even your fault, and now you're having to literally work out the differentials and work out the difference making you have to do just to get back on that lap. That's one of the worst things I've always said as a driver I absolutely hate, and I still can't get over, and Sammy Harrell, well aware of that, he takes the lead. On your camera on the left side of your tower screen there, this is our best lap times we're seeing so far. 31.05, flat out right now, one of the fastest times, and it looks like it's not going to be the absolute fastest because Charles Van Schaik decided to lay down a 30.99, the only 30 flat we have got here today so far. A 30-second time difference maker there. Bobby Wetzel in the 9 right now, trying to get it ahead of the 43 of Samuel Harrell. We're going to try to hang on there. Aaron Action Jackson and Bill Hales going at it in between 17th and 18th. late lap circumstances. This is one thing I really like right now, is just seeing where strategies kind of lay in and where can the drivers get their times back and then find their way back around the track. So more often than not, and so difficultly can this be portrayed in the situation we're seeing right now. Which is multiple drivers a lap down, multiple drivers trying to find a little extra kick or a little extra speed. DeRue and Christoph Hall already into pit road, so it looks like their fuel mileage run troubles are starting to get into their own heads here. But nearing the halfway point here, yet again, more and more drivers coming and going. Coming right off the corner though, trouble for Bill Hales. He's got problems, big problems for the 53. He's in the wall, facing the other side of the track. Not a spot you want to be at MH Construction 53. Well, I said earlier, if you were a lap down, what would you hope for most? Obviously, a caution would be one of them, but really it'd just be an opportunity to get your laps back if you can. And here is the situation that happened here. Sturgill into the wall protection. I'm not sure if Hales just came right up at Sturgill or Sturgill got him, but man, that's another one of those situations Sturgill has not been able to escape all season long. And it happens to him again in a very tough situation. One more look at it, you can see Sturgill's already into the wall. Here comes the corner. See if he gets a little too tight. Oh! Alright, so I gotta kind of fault both drivers. Hales was holding his line, though. It looks like Sturgill might have just drifted up slightly down there. So, looks like that'll be on both guys there for that caution, but Sturgill definitely catching a piece of Hales in the corner there. Tough break there for both drivers, though. So right now, currently Wortman, the only one in the track. Everybody else in pit road. Samuel Morell out of pit road first. Dalton gonna be getting some tires here. Udig Sixton looking to stay out. Looks like Hudson gonna get his tires on and work his way around off the exit. Doy Woods as well. Charles Van Schaik, Richard Crane coming out next there. The Rangers 36. New look on the scheme there for old Richard. I like it. It's about time he swapped off a little bit instead of going with that U.S. Navy scheme. Throw a little different kind of paint scheme on there. I like it. Got New York Rangers, even though I'm not a fan of anything that is New York in terms of sports teams. Sorry, New York fans. I will say at least he's got a decent little ride there and a pretty cool looking ride. So hopefully it makes up to you guys. A little Thrustmaster on the back, so a little love and respect to the company probably producing his wheel he is driving with right now. I've actually ran with a Thrustmaster wheel before. I had that T300 for a while, and I gotta admit, pretty good wheel actually. And even though I'm not huge on belt drives anymore, I still had a friend that was using that constantly, and they were absolutely kicking my butt with it once in a while on any kind of track or any kind of race for the longest time. I swapped to direct drives, and all of a sudden I can handle them a lot better on short tracks, and actually found a way to kind of hang with them more on the big tracks. Although they still are a lot better of a driver on big tracks than I am on short tracks, so I'll give them that one. But they're not using that T300 anymore, so I mean that's where I lie there. I guess for those that are wondering what am I using then, I actually use a CSL direct drive base from Fanatec, so If you are curious, then yeah, there you go. I've set it out on camera, and you're welcome. Top 10 right now, returning to the restart zone. Aaron Action Jackson going to get his lap back. He'll be in the top 10. Alan the Wild Man Wild going to be in the 9th spot. Richard Crane's 8th. Charles Van Schaik is going to be in the 7th spot. 6th spot for Joy Woods. 5th for Joe Hudson. Tyler Dalton currently in 4th. Skylar Sixton is 3rd. Ricky Utting 2nd. And Sammy Harrell 1st. Oh, by the way, Richard Crane right now, with his position, if he was going to stay where he was at, he would have been 17 spots from his original position he started in. I guess he's going to opt to not start there, and he's going to go back into pit road, maybe looking at some fuel mileage here. Off the distance from corner number 4 here, back to the restart zone, race fans. Just over 100 laps remain here at Chicagoland, and a good 20 laps remain for stage number 2. Check that, 30 laps, I should say, not 20. I cannot count today, I guess. And speaking of can't count, looks like Dalton can't count where he's at, so he's going to count on literally just jumping to the outside and making for the run on the outside. He's got a big position up. Frozen from 5th to 2nd. All of a sudden now, Sixton, Udden, and Hudson watching on. Dalton using his work, doing his magic. Harrell well aware who's coming up behind him. A lot of pressure right now being bestowed on Harrell. Watch carefully on that outside line. Dalton looking to try to cave the 43 off. The Legion 43 Chevrolet has nothing for that outside run right now. Bill Hales again with trouble. They'll jump it into pit road. There will be no caution. Dalton jumps it ahead. The 7519 is back in the race lead. Managing to push himself and his car to its limits and to its fullest. That's exactly what he wanted to do, and that's exactly what he had to do. The Wild Man right now looking like maybe he's got something coming for these drivers. He's fighting up against here with the Root, number 23 of Mr. Charles Van Schaik. Ricky Utting, the 2 Pepsi Cola machine, having some problems again. Keeping the pace and keeping the momentum alive. Utting has been, though, a very big household name in this GOAT Racing League series. Whether it been for the trucks or whether it been from Cup, we always known he was around. He's won a couple races here on this show. Still good to see him being able to come out here and fight at the top level and at the best, but I think in his mind, too, he's searching so much and so far for that elusive race win this season. Gotta remember though, Dalton, Charles Van Schaik have got the most wins. Then you have literally kind of lumped in there. You have Ron Holyfield, and then even you got a little known number. It's Scott Simley thrown in there, with many others right now trying to get closer and closer to Brad Chicago's top spot. Charles coming up closer to the 43. Look out for the Wild Man, though. Schaik almost looked like he was trying to hide behind Harrell with that draft speed. And Wild was like, you can't hide from the commander for long. You can't even run them. They are trained and built, as he says. Well, he has maybe trained and built to get it done, but right now he is not fully getting all that's worth here to get around Shite. Gallagher 6, and I think it's the first time we've ever seen the 67 out on the track, and so far made a good impression for me, actually. He's kept his pace and kept his momentum good. Right now, though, I do expect for him later on to really start to make some charges, to make some runs here. Not only to prove his worth, but to prove he can fight it out with them. Samuel Orell right now looks like he's going to get double troubled here. Try to hold on to Sykes running wild from behind, but it was not to be. Orell falls back even further into the drive. And by the way, I said earlier that it said Vendetta on the back, on the side of that car there for the 67. It does not. So Sixon, I apologize in advance. I thought it said Vendetta there. I think it says Vatessa on there. I am not completely sure. Vatalia? Okay, hold on. I gotta... This is one of those times I'm just gonna go ahead and cut quickly to the camera here. I'm gonna cut the camera off for a second, and I'm gonna tell those producers to give me a side shot of that car. Vaptasia, okay. Thank you, producers. I had to know for sure, so I apologize in advance for those that might have gotten a little dizzy there. It says Vaptasia on the side. And no, race fans, we really, in the broadcast, we do not mind or care if you show a beer drinking or smoking cigarette, anything like that. Scheme on these cars, but we could care less. It's only iRacing we got to worry about, not us. Well, Doy Woods right now, though, probably get himself a little bit more clairvoyant on the speeds and more power on the runs. But man, I gotta believe right now he's probably trying to escape the pain and trying to escape the defeat that he's dealing with at this moment. Closing on the last right now, and you can see Dalton maybe starting to feel a little bit of pressure. Let's take a look at our lap times here and see the difference between him and Hudson. With about 12 laps remaining coming this time on by. Hudson currently looking to be the favorite to catch Dalton if he gets a chance. We see possibly an Austin Hill, Taylor Smith situation we saw on Xfinity earlier today. In real life, of course, at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Could be very feasible and possible. The USAL number 15 Ford Mustang of Hudson been solid today. As has that 23 of Charles Van Shyke, so I suspect Charles may be also, I don't know, could be possibly poking the bear just a little bit. Maybe Dalton probably sleeping a little too much on his morals and his morale, the drive and the speed he's got right going on for himself right now. Hard to really say. Doy Woods, man, what can you say about this 66 so far today? Long run it, now streaming the speed and keeping the power up. The 66, without a doubt, is a favorite here for a top 5 and a podium, but I say he's got something more in mind later on. About to see how it works. Well, that 67 of Sixton leaving all the room there for the 6 of Camry DeRue. The Vitalia, number 67 Ford Mustang, not able to keep the King's Hawaiian behind. Kramer going off track for a second, got it back out there. It looked like he might have had a little problem in the front straightaway coming from the corner. No surprise there. He's entered in pit road. He's probably going to get some damage cleaned up on that thing. Kramer is just one of those drivers, man, you think more and more about it. He just seems like he'll have a chance or have a better opportunity. The longer he runs, the more he goes, but just doesn't seem like he's been able to get it as of late here on the show. The Vape Talia 67 now versus the Heineken 7. Oh no, boy! Well, I'm not sure if Sibley had too much of a run and Sixton was a little slower off the pace, but I tell you, that did not look good. Big bump off of corner number 4. Sibley and Sixton able to hold their line down. Great driving on their ends to do that, but you just know in the back of your mind, though, as a driver, you don't forget those little things. Field lingering their way right through corner number 3 and 4. Dalton starting to increase the lead. He knows Hudson was coming up close and coming up quick, so it looks like now says he's done waiting and he's done lingering around. Looks like he's going to start to put the pressure on and keep the speed up. Five laps to go next time on by here. This is getting a lot more difficult. I can tell you as a driver right now, they are feeling pressure mount up further and further. It really hammering away on their control and their situations. Mentally processing, mentally focusing, and then at the same time just trying to check out away from the mirror and look more towards the front end of your shield. Looking ahead where everyone looks behind is the name of the game, as they always said. I was always taught, let the spotter do the work for you. In the rear view mirror, you focus on what's in front of you, which is good for this kind of racing, but on the short track end, not so much. Doy Woods and Charles Van Schaik right now dealing battle to one another here. Woods still trying to get around that pesky little 23. But Van Schaik, man, I tell you, he will not give you an inch. I have not been able to run him yet on any of the officials, but I can tell you from what I've heard, he is one of, if not the toughest, to get around when he gets it going, when he gets that speed under wraps. 2 laps to go here in stage number 2, excuse me. Stage 1 came unconclusively to a decisive end there when Doy Woods would stay out where everyone else had wrecked out. The troubles pursuing with John Higman Jr. as he cost himself all that opportunity and all that chances to possibly make a break for it. He ended up leaving the race and leaving the track. Said he wasn't going to play someone out like that or do a drive like that in this case. One more lap to go here in stage number 2. Well, Dalton, once again, just the same way he did in New Hampshire. He did the same thing here in Chicagoland. He looked for an opening, and he just said to heck with it. Joe Hudson trying to get a run on him. but it'll be too little too late. Tyler Dalton for corner number 4 will win stage number 2. Oh, hold on a minute. I forgot it's actually, forgot it's 85 laps, and I'm sorry, guys. I really need to learn to read my math here. 85 laps to stage 2. I'm sorry. That was my bad. That was my bad. So Hudson still has a little time, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Dory Wood's already making some jumps there. I hope Charles Van Schaik didn't hear me in the radio there and hear me say that and think it was time to slow down. That was my bad if he did. Doyle Woods, though, nevertheless, did get around him here and now taking control of that end of the playing field. The rest of the field right now just trying to stay on the lead lap. Jerry Livingston in 17th, and everyone on up is on the lead lap. Surprisingly, Bobby Wetzel has not been able to get his lap back entirely in this race, and right now looks to be in a bit of a disadvantage. Okay, and I also got to clarify something. It's actually from 14th on up, I believe, is on the lead lap. Yep, so I have to clarify Livingston was not on the lead lap. That was a mistiming on our end. I've had a lot of live timing issues as of late. I got to figure that out. We'll get it all dialed in for stage number, the final stage 3, the final stage here in just a minute. Well, Hudson, thankfully not listening to me here on the broadcast booth. Still trying to hunt down Tyler Dalton. He's got one more lap to do it. Closing in. Dalton right now feeling the pressure. And now Hudson. One big run. One big jump. Trying to get a little extra kick. Trying to get a little extra power. Dalton well aware of that. He's seen him really charge that momentum up. Pulls them off pretty well here. Dalton now a little bit harder on the gas. Knows he's coming for him. Now this time off for turn number 4. For sure this time. This will be stage number 2's decisive end. All right. A decisive end indeed here to stage number 2. We'll see Tyler Dalton win this one out. Doy Woods showing that stage 2 was no fluke. Or stage 1 was no fluke. And managing to get himself into the 3rd spot here, outrunning Charles Van Schaik. But the rest of your field right now with a lot of work to do here. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'll be right back in the broadcast booth. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can figure out this live timing issues. Alright, well, I think I've got that all fixed up now. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 70 laps to the distance. Final drive to survive for these GOAT Racing League boys. Next Gen Cup Series, Global Strategy Team Series here. Ready to bring the house down in Chicagoland one last time. 14 drivers on the lead lap. The rest trying to hunt back from the pack. Off the drive off from turn 4. Wave them through. Green is out. Final stage commences. And again, a lot of them off the lead lap just due to one thing in part. Strategy, timing, and a late caution before stage 1 came to a conclusive end, forcing many to have to rethink the strategy outright. Ron Holyfield, former winner on this show, lap down right now. I'll change that up real quick. Making some noise, coming to the front, coming through the field. They're all running through lap traffic right now, and some drivers running through more trouble than maybe they're expecting here. Holyfield making his way around the number 2, Ricky Utting trying to hang on, trying to keep the speeds up. Simley and Ottaway right now having a good little tussle. I'm not going to try to talk too much about Ottaway because it seems like every time I talk good about him or how he has not had a very good ended season, I jinx some of the old broadcaster curse, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut from that today. I'll let him race it out. Speaking of racing out, here we go. Triple threat battle for the lead. Dalton, Hutz, and Woods. One of these three looking for the lead. Currently, the one that holds the championship gold is the 19 of Dalton, while the rest looking to steal that belt. Samuel Harrell right now on that 43 machine. You can see the eyes, the focus and determination he's bringing to his end of the table. Ricky Utting yet again looking on though as the field starts to get further into the abyss of this maddening run. Every driver for themselves. Ottaway to the inside, making a run on the Heineken. The Sweetwater throws it back at the exotic drink. Sweetening his end of the bargain up. He'll make a good jump around the 7, moves it into 4th. Doy Woods, Joe Hudson, and Dalton weighing in weight. Every move right now extremely crucial and critical to what they're after and what they are trying to achieve in their end goal. But at the same time, they know what the pressures lie and where the feeling is intertwining with them. It's a lot of tough moves and some tough breaks to have to deal with here. Samuel Harrell making some big jumps ahead. Simley all over the place trying to hang on. The Heineken 7 nowhere to go. Simley last week, honestly having an amazing run there and a good drive off, pretty much handedly taking that one home. But Charles Van Schaik not letting him get away this easily and not letting him have that much breathing room this time around. Bobby Wetzel again, the Sim 500 camp right now in a bit of trouble. Some of them leading it, some of them struggling to keep up with the pace and the distance. Utting almost looks like he's trying to kind of cut the middle line towards the bottom where Harrell is going to the outside. Again, it's a bit of a deep dive on the outside line, but if you can time it right, you have the speed match up perfectly to what this next gen cup car likes to do, which is build a run and build some momentum. Running that bottom lane is for extremely big, powerful passing moves and some extremely tough rides amongst each other. Holyfield and Wetzel in a deep, conclusive battle for that 15th spot. Wetzel, though, desperately trying to get the lap back or have a chance at this race. Feels as though he's been kind of cut out of that top spot a few too many times this season. He's trying to change that right now. Dory Woods in the 60 Halloween machine, keeping his Mustang power alive. But honestly, unless your name is Tyler Dalton or Joe Hudson, I'd say right by now it's a battle between these two drivers. But Dalton got the better of Hudson last stage. Despite my horrible timing and the fact that I couldn't read what the laps were, it seems like Hudson has pretty much kind of initiated any kind of launch sequence, any kind of maneuvering for Dalton to be feeling the pressure on and having to get around as much as possible here. Knows he's in a very tough and tremendously case of spot here. And the field that is on the lead lap right now is starting to get cleaned up a bit more. Simley in 7th, Utting in 8th, and Jackson in 9th. And they are separated by a mere 30/10 of a second. Wetzel losing ground here. Simley back on the outside. Utting will follow. Jackson trying to come back up to catch him. I think Wetzel's hoping for the 11 to make a mistake, so he may have a chance to get his lucky dog back on him. Jackson going to make his mark right up ahead of the 9. Wetzel right now trying to maybe just keep a little bit of that power to himself. Closing off the gap. Jackson not a fan of that. Gives him the old side skirt. Put a door to a door. And it's door-to-door racing. Rubbing is racing, my friends. And that's exactly what we're getting. Although Wetzel may not appreciate that very much. I don't think Jackson really cares. He considers him just lap traffic fodder at this point, I would presume. Yeah, on board here for Scott Simley. He is in 7th, started 6th, and he is driving the 7 today. So could we see a 7-7 today for him? We are in Vegas, but it's certainly lucky numbers. Running the gap around there. Holyfield moving his way right into the chains. First off, Hall even having a little go at Wetzel there. And again, Wetzel and Hall are on the lead lap, but they're just on the lap down marker, but they're on their own preferred laps there. That's what I meant to say. Holyfield now the only other one that is currently on the 44th lap. So now trying to get up to the 11, but now runs into lead traffic as well. And Jackson probably not too thrilled. He's getting kind of clocked off and blocked by lap traffic again. This seems like it's been a battle between lap traffic and running racing traffic. I don't know how they feel about that or what they'll be going through their minds in the next couple races, but I can tell you as a driver, it is absolutely frustrating to know lap traffic is causing you to swing and get around people. But I look at it this way too. If there was no lap traffic, then what would the leaders have to worry about? That's really nothing. So, in my opinion, it works out pretty well in its favor, and I actually enjoy that part of the racing aspect of it. I'm just going to be as biased as all the other drivers, and I'll tell you, it sucks when it happens to me, so. Route 23 of Van Schaik still getting some runoff. Got Holloway, he's got Russell Holloway right in front of him. He's got Simley giving him a little bit of a push, trying to charge him back through. Right down to the inside line, and there is a big, big run coming up. Van Schaik swings the gap. The pendulum almost starting to sway a little bit more towards the Van Schaik camp. Simley looking to strike a chord with it too. Semira losing some speed there, falls back into 7th here. Simley now moving it to the bottom. He'll get it on Ottaway. A big run for the top 5 here. Ottaway, ooh, easy big fella. He's getting it awfully close to that retainer barrier and the outside wall barrier. That is a bad, bad spot to find yourself trapped in. I'll tell you that much right now. Rip ground coverage, ripping it right ahead of the field. Doy Woods here still in the 3rd spot. Hudson in 2nd, 4/10 off of Tyler Dalton. And Dalton right now is just trying to hang on. Carell and Jackson now going to go at it a little bit with Ricky Utting way behind in the mix. I love the anticipation, the feeling right now that we're getting here, the thrills and spills and the chills we've gotten today kind of feels pretty similar and pretty cool, pretty well documented like what we saw earlier on in the Xfinity race back at Vegas. While at the same time retaining that elusive aura and awe these next gen cup cars do bring to the table. They have a feeling to them, but to me at the same time, they are still a bit harder to drive and a little bit crazier to drive than I would think I really accepted to be or wanting it to be. Still though, they can pretty much say they can put up some great racing and some great battles here on these cars. I will give them that. Slop the camera around up to the front. Tyler Dalton right now, he's got company. Joe Hudson secretly and patiently looking for another opening. And a yellow flag out on the track here. Problems on the track. It looks like it's Dakota Kramer. The 42 has come to a deadlock stop. Looks like the car has come spiraling out of turn 4 into the front straightaway. Judged by the tire smoke marks there. Let's take a look at the replay and see for sure. Here's another look at the replay. That came off turn 4. Oh yeah, right there. Big time. Big time. It looks like he got clipped. Oh, he got clipped with Keith Prince there. Prince got slapped with him. Ouch. Huge hit there for the 42. Both drivers taking a nasty tumble there. Very tough tumble indeed. Let's take one more look at it from our chopper cam. That just shows you how difficult these cars are still to drive. They may make them look easy to drive, but they are not any easier to drive than what you see in real life, folks. Alright, here we go. Down to pit road. Big pit stops coming up. Oh, looks like Charles Van Schaik gonna weigh it out a little bit. So a strategy throwing on the 23 camp. I'm not sure if I really find this the best strategy, but you know what? Could be a big move here. Could be a risky move, but it could be a big move. We don't know. Best thing we can do is only speculate. From pit road, Doy Woods gets the beating out of there. And it looks like Hudson will get ahead of Dalton. Harrell will be right behind Dalton here, so Charles Van Schaik, his strategy Going to be a very interesting one. He decides to stay out from lap 89. He does need fuel eventually here, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with the strategy he's up to unless he's going for pit road now. And looking at that fuel mileage run. Field has double filed in, race fans. 40 laps left to go. Van Schaik, I think, is probably assuming he'll get another caution to help him out for that fuel run. So I think that's his strategy, but it's so hard to predict and tell anymore with these guys. Ronnie Christensen coming on board says it's been great racing tonight. It has indeed. Expected to get even better here off the restart zone back to the green. Ricky Utting heading back into pit road. Looks like he is going to have some problems down there. Bringing him around off of the back straightaway. Joe Hudson coming up on Charles Van Schaik, looking for the race lead. Keith Brent's right away in the field as well here. Every driver for themselves. Everybody has been in pit road on lap 117 on the lead lap except Charles Van Schaik. He's been the only one that hasn't been yet. Hudson with the lead. Taking control of this one. I think Van Schaik maybe been looking for some lead lap points there. That could be his aim, his game here. Aaron Jackson, though, coming right up through as well. Jackson trying to get himself finally into victory lane after nearly a full 10 races away from the scene. He's trying so hard here to right now get himself in that top spot. Coming around off the backstretch, close as can be, tightening up the grips. Those belts are strapped down tighter than it gets, and these drivers are right now looking to throw the fists. One jab and one knock there from Jackson. Now comes a haymaker to the inside. Oh, big run, big jump coming from the 15. Jackson to the inside now, double files him up. He's got a huge run on Hudson now for turn 3. Hudson deciding to throw the crossover blockage here. He's going to try to cross him down through 4, but he lost a lot of momentum. These cars are almost detrimental to that run you gain, that grab. If you lose it, it entirely messes up your run for the whole shot. And now Wild Man Wild also having a little bit of a go here in terms of top spots and top prospects here, looking for some speed and looking for some distance. Sammy Earl and Joe Hudson there are both now on pit road. Looks like Hudson, whoa. I'm not sure I had some problems down there going into pit road or what went wrong there, but that was a little wild. Jackson is your new leader. Al Wild right now trying to get to him. About 30 laps remaining here on the call. Alan Wild and Aaron Jackson, Action Man and a Wild Man, meeting up for this one. And now Wild right now looking like maybe he's starting to feel a bit of the pressure too. Every driver feeling a lot of pressure now. Van Schaik and pit road looks like he's trying to strategize it above all else as well. I know, more than likely, the further we get along, the further we go, the tougher it becomes and the more tricky it is to just really see where each driver and where each person can bring their power and bring their run to it. pits right now after having to fall back so many laps down. At this point, probably just trying to get a little bit closer in the position for at least a better finishing order, but really his day has kind of done it over with here. Right now, currently Jackson, your lead leader by about a full second over Alan Wild. Wild right now, I presume, probably trying to save fuel, trying to save some face. Jackson, I think at this point, just trying to make sure he controls his own destiny. 25 laps remain. Is there enough fuel for those two drivers? Is there enough for Tyler Dalton? This has now turned into a long run strategy, and Dalton actually went in about 2 laps later. So he's in a much better position. Let's take a look at our pit strategy jobs right now. This is your stint length here we are seeing. And you can see before we had originally gone to the cautions and all that, the first stints were rangely around the 20 to 31 markers. So having to save fuel now, you went on lap 117 and you've got literally quite a few more laps. I'd say honestly you definitely are looking at a very tight-ended window here. Oh, look, says you can already hear it too. You can hear the fuel mileage starting to become a problem. Dalton already clutching in. Listen to the car as he comes through the turn. He cuts all the power off by clutching it in with that left, very far left pedal you always hear us talk about. That clutch, you push that in. It cuts all the engine power and allows usually to shift in between your car spots. But for drivers that are on fuel runs, it's a saving mechanism. It literally cuts all power from the car and allows it to be able to save and bolster any run of oil or pressure you have. That fuel is going to be extremely necessary. Charles Van Syke and Hudson right now are the first two to make a run for it here. Actually, Ron Holyfield too. Looks like he is in talks, but he is not going to be very in-depth with that one. Actually, he's going to be more troublesome than it's worth. He's only at 117, 125, 128 there for Hudson and Shike. So that means Hudson right now on the controlled end place. Wild looks like he's going to pit road now. He doesn't have enough to go through, he's saying. Jackson thinks he might have enough. He's going to push it. Jackson really starting to use that speed and power that he gained up on these drivers earlier as a very big key selling point. But again, many other drivers well aware of that strategy. Alan Wild, despite having to go in as late as he did, actually stayed ahead of Hudson and Van Syke. So if I'm Aaron Jackson right now, I may need to be thinking about my strategy a little bit, because I think that could actually be a saving grace. But at the same time, He knows what Dalton's up to, and he knows what he's trying to do here. Such a bizarre and surreal situation to have to figure out and clean out on your end. You question yourself, you question your abilities, just thinking, what do I do? Where can I go with it? And can I hang on just long enough? Take a look at the lap times here for these two, and you can see actually Crane somehow in the lead lap actually still is currently actually I think following the same routine everyone else is. Actually he's on 2-lap fresher oil, so I don't know, he might actually have something in this one. I don't think we need to cut out Crane yet. Crane honestly has been so quiet this entire race. I am legitimately shocked right now that he's where he's at and he's actually performing at what he's at right now. If he could somehow pull this one off, I would be very interested to see. He's got the right strategy down, but does he have enough power? And does he have enough fuel to get at the tank to the front? Launching them around right now. Again, this is where the strategies just play into key roles, key positions. And right now it looks like Dwight Woods actually making a little bit of a drive off to get to Dyer Dalton here. Close that gap on him just a little bit more. 14 laps remaining. The man that's fuel mileage is really are forcing these guys up a bit. Dwight, you can see he's just hard on that clutch as soon as he hears Dalton. He's right on it too. Went from a very big racy race, kind of race it out, see what happens kind of strategy to now to survival to the finish. A survival to the finish mentality that only the best may interpret and explicitly execute. And speaking of explicit material right now, Hudson dropping the hammer on Holyfield, and Holyfield, nothing he can do about that. Got shown a different light in a different way, and the USA 15 AL15 trying to get it up there. Jackson has no choice. He's going to have to go with this long run strategy, and if it fails, it fails. He knows Dalton is on 2 laps more fuel than he is. Crane is at the same conclusion in the same situation. Crane honestly has never won here on Pizza Race TV. If Jackson falls off by a 1 lap, Crane will take the lead away. He's only 15 seconds out. 4 seconds plus ahead of Tyler Dalton, actually, if you can believe that. Again, nothing against Crane, but usually we just have not seen him really bring this kind of speed, this kind of manipulation and power to the table here in quite some time. So it's great to see him really start to put it up on these drivers. Looking at the back right now, Brian Wardman, the 74, another NC811 number car, bringing the number 74 Chevrolet out on the pack, dealing with lap traffic in front and behind him here. Got ahead there, Keith Prince. Keith really had a little bit of a showmanship there and a bit of a drive off, but didn't quite keep up the power long term. John Hickman Jr., Bill Hales, Cody Stewart, Ryan D. Cook, Dakota Kramer, Ricky Udding, all out of the race. Whether a lack of power, a lack of speed in their cars, or a lack of laps to get back, they unfortunately were not able to complete this run. 10 laps to go. Opportunities running low here. Sammy Arell going to get it ahead of Wortman, or Hollyfield, excuse me. Hollyfield is in pit road. And Hollyfield, by the way, was on 117 fuel run. Jackson is still pressuring it. And it's amazing to me, Jackson hasn't really sounded like he's trying to actually feel, okay, there it is, right there, there it is. He's going to pit road now, but look at how late it is into this run. Even with 2 extra laps, it is not enough for Crane to possibly hold down Dalton and them as well. He's pushing his luck, and he's pushed himself far beyond what I've expected. Dalton and Doy Woods, though, they're both coming for him. Dalton doing everything he can right now to shorten this track out and shorten this race up a bit. Jackson, good effort. Unfortunately, it would not be to any avail. It would be to no avail. Dalton's strategy earlier on the field didn't work out. Neither Doy Woods' did. Crane trying to absolutely perfect and modernize this run he's got. But if Dalton catches him, he's going to have to do something he hasn't done all season. That's have to fight for that spot. This is the first time Crane has been put in this position all season. Can he finally get one in victory lane? Here comes Dalton, though. Ready to put the pressure on him. And Crane, look at this. He dropped to the bottom. Looks like he's going to try to block Dalton here. Both guys are just hungry for some fuel. Their cars are begging for it. They want some fuel to go further and go faster, but they can't do anything about it. 4 laps to go. Dalton drafting off a Crane. Probably as a last-ditch effort to the inside. Dalton, big run coming up, and he'll get it ahead. Did the draft help him enough? Crane gotta be sick to his stomach. Can't believe it. He lost this one out. But wait a minute. Don't forget Alan Wild. He's still in this. Oh, wait a minute. Crane got in front of Wild. He's going into pit road. Crane is in pit road, but not without a huge little bump. All that run that Wild had just completely lost in there. He's going to need to hope Dalton and Woods go to pit road. He just lost any chance he was going to get him on speed. Oh my goodness, Alan Wild has got to be sick to his stomach right now. Infuriated lap traffic once again bites him and a bit a few of the other drivers earlier. Dalton is not going to give it up. He's going to go for it all. 2 laps to go. Dalton and Doy trying to hang on. Wild literally was closing them both off, though. He had a great chance and a golden opportunity and nearly just got completely eclipsed, but he might have another chance here. Woods going to bring it on the back straightaway, leading him down, drafting off for this final run. Here they come to the inside. Doy with the jump, straight to the run, trying to get Dalton to force him up a little bit. Use some extra power, use some extra oil. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your white flag lap here, presented by Global Strategy Team. Wild watching on. Contact between the two. Oh, this could get interesting down that back straightaway. Doy Woods looking for one more run, one more push. They're going to have enough fuel, but do they have enough power? Through corner number 3 to turn number 4. Drag race them off the line. Doy Woods sends it up to Dalton, and it's going to be Doy Woods winning it here in Chicagoland. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a race. It took a fuel mileage run. It took a hard charging run. And it took a little bit of work. But Doy Woods manages to outclass and defeat Tyler Dalton in a hellacious final run. The fuel was not all the way there, but the pride in the race itself in Doy Woods' mind was, and it was enough to bring it to victory lane for the first time this season. Driver's going to show a little bit of respect. Looks like Charles Van Schaik also trying to help Doy get him at least across so he can do a burnout. Some love from Charles Van Schaik. I don't even think Doy's got any. I don't think he's got any fuel to do a burnout. I think he's completely out. He's got no fuel in that car. I'm going to tell you that right now, folks. Oh, my goodness. Race fans, let's take a look at your final results here. What a finish conclusively. Doy Woods gets it off a turn 4. Dalton just gets closed off a little too much. Doy takes advantage and wins it. Alan Wild, though, oh my goodness. What could have been? That's something we'll definitely have to ask him there in that interview, because I'm going to ask him about that, because it looked like he was going to catch them both and have a shot at it, but unfortunately, that lap traffic situation might have bit him right where it hurts. Scott Simley, though, taking it home in a top 5 situation yet again. Great showing from him. Charles Van Schaik pitted in early, and strategy worked out the same way Sammy Harrell's did in stage 1, but didn't quite win it in this one. Aaron Action Jackson, another great showing in our top 10. Joe Hudson, what could have been as well for him, so close yet so far. Russell Ottaway, much better showing from him, and definitely an improvement. Finally getting himself into 8th. 9th for Christoph Hall, another great race for him. And then Samuel Harrell, throughout this show, looked like he could have been a favorite, but alas, it was of no avail. What a position and what a performance by all drivers involved. Your final positions and finishers on the track. It's time to listen in now to your top 3 drivers, and I think we might have a little wild man in the house here having some words for us. Let's listen in. This should be interesting. He's going to come to us here in your 3rd place position, the commander in the 22 Ford Mustang. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Wild, the wild man. Man, Wild, I've got to ask you, sir. That was probably your best showing and your toughest showing, but at the same time, what a horrible break there off turn 4 with Richard Crane. What happened as he was heading to pit road, sir?
Oh man, I was flying. I pit with like 20 to go and I was saving a set of tires. So I had the freshest tires out there and I was just cruising and I was catching them all. But the 36 ran out of fuel right in front of me. Had to check up and I didn't have enough to get back up to him with only 2 laps to go.
Now, I guess I got to ask this as well here. I know you saw the battle between Woods and Dalton going on, but had that not happened and you were able to maybe get him on the outside and then drive up to him, do you think that this car would have finally been able to park it in victory lane today?
Oh, 100%. I had it tonight because my pitch strategy got offset from everyone else. So I had that extra set of tires that no one else had, and I was cruising.
You were cruising, but unfortunately, it won't be able to cruise into victory lane today. But still, an absolutely amazing and impressive showing for you and this team. So, Wild, first time we really get to see you in this podium here tonight, sir. Who do you want to thank you for that?
Thank Garage Door Commander, the Forward Project, Dirty Monkey Racing, and I'm just happy with the 3rd place. This was a great race tonight.
Absolutely. Wild, man. Congratulations taking it home for 3rd today.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your 3rd place finisher today, Alan Wild. Very observant and absorbent of this moment. And I think the same probably will be said here for Tyler Dalton here, coming away 2nd place today in the Sim 500 number 19. Dalton, yet again, another great showing, another strong podium. But, sir, the last lap, it bit you there. What went wrong there, sir?
Ran out of gas.
Ran it, I guess.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaking one because I felt like we had the field beat on speed. And then we had a caution come out because of a guy that's multiple laps down, brings out a caution and sort of changes the whole end of the race there. So at that point, I knew some guys had 2 sets of tires. We only had 1, so we came in and got the tires, and I knew that the fuel was going to be close. So I went out there and tried to save as much as I could. Unfortunately, Doy was doing the same strategy behind me, so he had my draft and was able to save just a smidge more. And I didn't want to go right as early as I did, but Doy got a run on me and I had to go. and started sputtering on me a little bit there coming out of 4. We just needed one more corner, about 100 more feet.
Oh, just 100 more feet here. I know you and Woods, man, putting up a great fight, putting a great battle there at the end. I honestly thought when it looked like coming off turn 4, it looked like he might have clipped you there going in towards near the wall there. I'm presuming, though, that wasn't the case and it was just a fuel run, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just started sputtering, and I just moved up when it did. Wasn't gonna catch him at that point. But like I said, it might be second place, but man, that's a disappointing second because, like I said, I felt like we had the field covered, dominated most of the race, and just unfortunate cautions that shouldn't have happened, that had no reason to happen, sort of screwed us. And then at the end there, that was just the downside of being the first one trying to save fuel. You got no one to draft off of. So good win to Doy. We'll take second and go on to next week.
Go on next week indeed, Dalton. Then I know this one's a little heartbreaking, but at least second place today in Chicagoland. Who do you want to thank for that?
I think all the Sim 500 Mafia drivers. Joe was in the same boat that I was there. He was really strong and looked like maybe me and him were going to have a 1-2 before that caution. So I feel bad that he finished 7th, but he'll be back to get him next week too. Just want to thank NC811.org and Trans Service, great sponsors of Sim 500, and we'll get him next week.
Certainly indeed. Thank you for your time down there, Dalton.
Thank you.
Tyler Dalton, ladies and gentlemen, here. Heartbreaker here, losing this one out. But a big win for the man who finally gets himself into victory lane this season. Ladies and gentlemen, the 66 Doy Woods coming out swinging at Chicagoland. And Doy, man, sir, you had to absolutely be sweating behind that wheel, looking at the tire, looking at the fuel. Then comes the big jump, the final fight. Almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. It was probably about as epic as it could get with all the lights and shining right on you, sir.
I mean, it was an awesome day at the racetrack. I can't thank everybody that makes it happen. We were due for a win, and man, to win it in that spectacular fashion. I don't think I had anything for Tyler and Hudson straight up, but the guys, we worked on it and did some adjusting on the steering wheel and got a little bit better, but still taste off. But I tell you what, that motor was purring and had some good gas mileage tonight, and that's what it took.
Oh, it certainly did indeed here. And I got to ask you, I mean, all around first stage, you had saved the fuel, you're kind of laid low. Then the caution comes out, you take stage 1. Stage 2 comes around, you're still in the 3rd spot. That final stage, what was the main strategy and the pinpoint you wanted to make sure you had before that caution kind of flew out?
Well, my great crew chief was giving me the numbers and told me what I had to do, and we pitted 3 or 4 times that last caution. And when I caught Tyler, I'm like, I'm gonna stay here, and that's what the crew chief told me to do. And clutched it, mashed the I button on the keyboard, killed the motor. Just did everything possible to save the fuel at the end to make it happen. And I tell you what, there's nothing like celebrating in victory lane.
Well, there certainly is nothing else like it indeed, my friend. As you walk away with the W and the big win today, you know the drill. Who do you want to thank you for all this?
I'd like to thank everybody, especially my buddy Chad Coleman. I tell you, if it wasn't for him, I'd have been done retired, probably in an old pine box on the side of the road. But him and a lot of them other guys, they know who they are, and they really they bring the love back into it for me to do this because I'm kind of old, and they believe in me, and it's great because I represent them when I get this W. It ain't just me; it's all the boys back at the shop, and when I get back to the shop, we're gonna have us some pizza, some tater chips, and some cold iced tea.
Oh, there's definitely some cold iced teas coming your way tonight. Doy, man, congratulations winning this one out here at Chicagoland, sir.
Thank you.
Doy Woods out of retirement and into victory lane again. Race fans, what a show, what a day, and a night time here in Chicagoland. Thank you so much to all support for Global Strategy Team and Jack Racing's Collectibles. Thank you so much for their support as well. Fans, it's been awesome, and it's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys next time when the green flag flies.